All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. Um, Today I want to talk about something a little different. I know usually I can speak with a little bit of profanity. I'm going to try and cut that to as minimal as possible, if possible. I'm going to do the best I can as God intended, because I, I guess I just want to talk to as many people as I possibly can. Because I guess we'll start with an assessment of where we are at in the world today. I guess as compared to I'm actually recording this on two phones because I'm going to upload these at different angles on two different channels. Because again, I want to talk to as many people as possible. The last time any of my channels got an upload, we're at a far different place in the world. Um, you know, it's safe to say that humanity has always known that evil is real, and that even perhaps the upper echelon of society that are in control of every thread of our infrastructure in modern day society um, might actually be evil too. There's always been that hunch and that idea, and I guess you could say that conspiratorial thought behind that being a possibility. And I think that now, with all the information that's been made public about, through obviously the Epstein files, another Epstein video, yeah, kind of. Um, it's given us essentially in some ways or another confirmation of a few things. Okay, and I think first and foremost it confirms that a lot, you can't say all because we don't know that, but we do know that more than zero of some of the most powerful people in the world are guilty or involve themselves with disgusting, horrible, unspeakable, ungodly, demented, demonic, depraved acts and behaviors and rituals and all this crap. Um, and that was something that, like I said, sure, we all may have thought that that was a possibility, or knew that there was a hunch. We know, we know now. We know that this evil exists, and perhaps this evil is what is in control. Um, Through that, we've also learned that through what we have seen, based on how the people in charge of allowing us to see these things have gone about this, we probably don't even know the freaking half of it. Like we probably have no idea the real extent and the real depravity and demonic entity that clouds this society. We really don't truly understand how far this could possibly go. There's no way there's no way they're behaving so shadily and trying to hide so much and just showing us what is true and what really happened. Like we're all smart, and I'm not going to say we all are. I'm saying a lot of us are smart enough to see through that BS and understand that obviously is not the truth. Just based on common knowledge of our government's track record of keeping things completely out of public view until decades and decades later, when some whistleblower grows the cojones to come out and tell us, hey, a lot of those people that were saying that crazy stuff, they were right. And I think that, everybody who has a conspiracy theorist in their life that has maybe, told that conspiracy theorist, like, oh, hey, you're fucking crazy. Like, you know, maybe you should get back on the meds. I think that you need to apologize to that person, and yeah, you can't say 100% certain with 100% certainty that what these people are saying is true. Can you say that it's not? Even if they were just lucky, even if they just guessed and just happened to get it right, like, you kind of have to acknowledge that there is truth to a lot of it. What, you know. Now, I don't want to be another one of these people that's out here, you know, fear mongering and trying to tell you that, yeah, you're basically effed, SOL, because everybody who's in charge of everything that you know, love, are part of, they're all Satan or Baal worshiping child fondlers. And in fact, those two things might be one and the same, especially in what, you know, we know about from these elites. One might go hand in hand with the other. And I mean, I guess that's obvious. That's not what I'm here to talk about. There's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good work, trying to uncover as much as they can about this, the horrible, disgusting, depraved things. I'm not somebody who likes to look and go hunting for that kind of stuff. I've dealt with a lot of my own demons, and not, you know, like, just like I've had a rough life. Life's tough, you know. And it took me a very long time to get to this point in my life over the last few years where I actually love myself, and I'm willing to read stuff. I'm not willing to see stuff, and that's why I don't do my own dive, because I already don't know how to turn this crap off. I think too much already as it is, and that's why I'm here making these videos, or this video, but videos. I want to talk about like what we do have control over, what we can do in this situation, and if you try and you look at this through the lens of like changing the world and, you know, completely upside downing everything in society and thinking you're gonna start the world fresh and new, that is not the route or the tree I'm climbing up at all. We have to acknowledge here the truth of the situation that we're in. First and foremost, it's the healthiest thing that we as people can do for ourselves. And the truth is, nobody knows what the hell this ends up leading to. This like, you couple this with everything that's going on in the technological side of the world, with all the shit they're trying to put in your body just so that, you know, they can fucking advertise right to your fucking eyeballs basically and shut you down whenever they want. Between that, this, and all this fucking crap that is just being thrown at us, like, we need to acknowledge the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter being that we don't know what the hell is really going on at all, outside of us. And there's a lot of power that comes from acknowledging that, right? And I'm not saying you should stop trying to dig into this as much as you can. You should most definitely keep trying to stay as informed about things as much as you possibly can. But instead of letting so much of the information that you take in come from AI or like anything like that, like, do what you can to try and search and seek out like your truth, you know, in all these situations. What do you believe? Don't let some other people tell you what you should believe. That brings me to like kind of another point of what I think we can do. And why do you think this AI stuff is being pushed so significantly upon us, and all this these technological services that they keep fucking telling you that you need in your life now, when like 50 fucking years ago people didn't even need a fucking a map in their hands that they could fucking type into. They had those fucking giant fucking, you know, thing the size of this that unfolded to the thing the size of my fucking sheet is back there that would tell you where you were and where you needed to go, and you had to follow that motherfucker with a pencil or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I mean, I've had to look at a map like that like twice in my whole life, you know. Like, you know, my 30s, early 30s. I'm not gonna say my actual age. They want you. They want us to be as manipulative and nimble, or not nimble, but like malleable, and as suggestible, and as friggin' like helpless as possible. They want you not able to solve your own fucking problems. Sorry, I tried, but I think I did pretty good. Like, if you watched any of my other videos, you know that was pretty good. They want you to be easy to manipulate. They want you to not even try to access any more knowledge than you have right now. Like right now, this is the most knowledge they ever want you to have. And any knowledge that you can ever obtain beyond this is already more than they want you to obtain. Because it means you're trying to think for yourself. And that's what my main, I guess, message here is, that we can do as people for ourselves in this very, very unquestionable and dark and disgusting and horrible. And like, I keep telling people, I think we're in the beginning of the end. I don't know of the end of what. I don't know if it's the end of fucking times. Could be. I don't know if it's just the end of the way the world is and has been. I don't know if it's the end of the good or the end of the bad. I don't know, but it's the end of something. Something is over. Something has changed forever. And the only way, I don't have the answers to what that is. You don't. Nobody fucking has that answer. Not even the people in charge. They don't even know how the fuck this is really going to play out. They have plans. They have designs. And part of those plans and designs involve you being as fucking weak and helpless as possible. And so what we can do is we can stop diverting all of our problems that we have that need solving in our lives to these things, these phones, to all these services that freaking, you know, dictate other things to think for us. Start using your brain to think for yourself again. If you don't understand something, do the research yourself, at least to learn it. You know, don't pop into ChatGPT and tell it to fucking answer everything for you. Like, you hear how some of these young people speak? Like, they speak like they can't even read, and it's because they just tell things to tell it everything they need to hear and know. And that's step number one, is learn how to think for yourself again. Learn how to fix things. Learn how systems, mechanical, and just learn. Use your brain, okay? Like, because the more time you spend sharpening your ability to think critically and understand, the more conscious you become, and the more able to decipher what you really need to understand out of certain things. And the more able you are to stop, and instead of just react, because that's all they want you to do, is they want you to react to everything. They want everybody to be as mad and angry and upset about what they're showing you as possible, which is working. They're just telling you everything they want you to know. There is a whole mess of other crap that you have no idea about, and you can't do anything about, unless you can get everybody in the world to all get on your side and fucking fight, which you're not gonna. I hate to tell you this. I'm sorry. I hate to be Mr. Debbie Downer or whatever the fuck you want to call me. It's not gonna happen. You do have control over something, though. And what you have control over is your fucking part in this. And if you don't even want to have a part in it, you have control over that too. How are you gonna respond to anything? That leads me to the using your brain as much as you possibly can to solve problems and understand and do research and learn as much as you can, as while you still can. That leads into the next point, which is start trying to prepare as best you can. Prepare for what, you might ask? I don't fucking know. That's the scary part. But be as prepared as you possibly can. I don't know if what that means for you, but for me, I don't know what I can and can't trust here in the next 6 to 12 months, especially if all these rumors we keep hearing about non-human entity disclosure, or maybe another fucking distraction come true, and what that might do to, financial systems and markets. So, like, if you have the ability to collect a little bit of gold just to have some sort of value on standby in case everything we know fucking comes crashing down. I mean, I've kind of like, I've got money in markets. I've got, like, money in bank accounts, right? But I've grown a lot more leery of the bank accounts. I've got some money in different cryptocurrencies. Pretty evenly spread too. I don't hold too much of a percentage in one thing. And then I've lately, like, especially since I've read about, like, the Bank of England, like, talking about how they think that markets could collapse, which is just probably another thing I'm supposed to see, right? However, what they're expecting is that you just see it and you go, oh, well, can't do nothing about it. We need the fucking bank, right? I've gone and I've kind of, in my savings accounts specifically, and like, when I get paid, and I get paid in direct deposit, I immediately now, half of all money that's gonna not be used for life, right, or that I'm not taking weekly and diversifying it amongst different assets. I know it doesn't look like fucking, yeah, don't worry about how I live. I live like shit. I fucking don't need much. I just need me and the people I love and a steady income and my fucking brain to be active and working and alongside my body. As you can tell, I work a rather physical job. And that's another thing. But yeah, the moral of the story is I keep a lot of cash on standby in a safe space. Like, that might be something to consider. It's just, you don't know. I don't know. None of us know. Doesn't mean you can't do what you can to prepare. You have the Second Amendment. Unless you've gone and fucked that up, use it. Make sure that you are protected as best you can. I mean, if you're going to go down one way or another, make sure that you can at least take care of you and your own. Like, you never know. Just saying, like, you never know what kind of civil unrest could, like, you just never know. But it's good to make sure that you're protected, right? Legally, like, yeah, like, it's another thing too, is like, you look at just the general public and how unhealthy physically and like, just incapable so many people look. I mean, even people that I love dearly in this world, just, if it came down to needing to, like, run a fucking mile and hop a fence or something, like, I don't know that 70% of the people I fucking know could do that shit. I hop a bunch of fucking fences. I don't care how tall that motherfucker is. I'm gonna get over it. Promise. Every fucking time. Yeah. I have no problems. Might be time to start considering, like, you don't gotta be Mr. fucking bodybuilder. I'm not Mr. fucking bodybuilder. Like, just a fucking builder. I just build shit. And you kind of have to be in shape to build as much shit as I do, and as fast as you have to in my trade. Start conditioning yourself. Prepare for what? Again, you might ask. Who the fuck knows, dude? But do you want to just be ready with no lube for it to come fucking dig in from behind? Or do you want to at least, be able to say, this is fucking crazy. I had no idea that this is where this was going to lead to. But I knew something was going to happen. I'm sure fucking glad I have this percentage of what I put aside here safely, because, oh, look, the whole banking system just collapsed, or whatever the fucking case may be, like, keep all your money in a savings account. what happens if fucking Bank of America goes down? Or fucking whatever. Like, you just don't know now. Along with the confirmation of evil and darkness and disgusting depravity amongst the people who run the world. And then, and I'm serious, like, you talk about Jeffrey Epstein and what and who he is, and who are all his connections, right? Like, yeah, like, there's the prezes, right? The presidents and stuff like that. But there's also people like the Rothschilds and like the richest fucking people in the world. He's not one of the richest people in the world. I would call him up in the upper 1%, probably. Maybe fucking not. Maybe we don't even know that, man. Like, we've again, we only know what they want us to fucking know. Like, sometimes things come out we're not supposed to, but we're not supposed to know, but like, that's not that often. Like, they really fuck up. The people who have such a tight grasp on the rings that bind our society the way they do, the fucking grasp is pretty strong, okay? Like, really strong. And it would take a divine miracle, which I am not saying is not possible or what even may happen one day. I'm a very, very, very strong believer in God. In fact, if any of this stuff has done anything for me in my relationship with God, it's done nothing but confirm with an undeniability that he does in fact exist, and there is not just some of the world out there trying to fucking oppress him and push his influence on us and this beautiful world, what is meant to be this beautiful world. The fact that it seems like everybody who has any remote bit of power in this fucking world is trying to fight back against him. It's almost like fighting back against I'm not going to say the authority, but the authority, right? Like, it's like fighting the establishment. It's almost like all these people who are in this upper echelon are fighting back against God, who they deem as the establishment. And it disgusts me. It absolutely just sickens me to my core. But if there's one thing besides every synchronicity and every confirmation that I notice in my everyday life, like it's just, I'll hear something at a certain time and I'll know that that's God. Like, every time. It's not even a question. If there's one thing that you could take away from this, right? And this is another thing that I think you should try and work on, because it's very easy to get caught up in the idea that, like, we live in such a disgusting, depraved world. Like, oh, this sucks. And then, that you go down the rabbit hole of this being all you think about. And if you're not somebody who can discern, your feelings and your parts in something versus what the overall picture is, if you're not somebody who can differentiate those things, then maybe you should spend less time thinking about them or being like, doing research on them or whatever. But if there's one thing that you can learn, is that with every cause there's an effect. With every negative thing that happens in the world, there has to be something positive to understand that this thing is negative. If there was no good, if there was no God, if there was no beauty and true wonder and true love and compassion in the world, if there was none, there was no God, and if there was none of that, every time Epstein drinks a baby, that's not, that we wouldn't even think twice about that being something that's good or bad. That is evil, because this is so graceful. So if there's anything that we could take solace in, for those of us who have seen and have been trying to learn as much about this horrible truth of our world that we live in, and we've understood that it is indeed as disgusting and as dark, probably a lot darker than we've ever thought. The one good thing we can take away from that is, for that to be able to be as dark as it is, there has to be the light on the other side of that. There has to be that example of what could be in terms of good and godly and gracious and great, you know. And so that leads me to the last thing, and it's that, yeah, times are tough, things are hard, life is very unpredictable right now. There's no telling where this road leads. I mean, it's fucking barely about to be March, and 2026 has just felt like such a insane fucking year, like one of the craziest years of all time so far, like at least that I can remember. And you know, I'm in my 30s. If there's one thing we could take away from it, it's a lesson just in life in general, and it's that if you really do try and you take the time to not be so reactive, and you take the time to stop, understand, and think about a situation, you really can take it. You can take almost any horrible situation, negative situation, and you can find a positive lesson in it, at the very least. Not to say that like, oh, this whole evil bullshit is just such a great lesson for us. Like, no, like obviously that's not what that means. But what it means is if you stop and you take a step back and remove yourself from the immediate situation or the immediate feelings of the situation, you can think about it objectively, and you can go, well, at the very, very end of the day, even if every outcome of a situation is horrible and terrible, there is one thing that's happened, and something was learned. I mean, knowledge is power, and knowledge creates life. So if at the very least a lesson was learned, then there's at least something positive that can come from almost anything. Not to, you know, bring brevity or make light of anything that's happening in the world right now, because there's so much chaos and disgusting depravity. And I'm not talking about just here, like with what's gone on with Epstein. Like, you can look at what's going on in the Sudan, you know, like what's possibly going to continue to go on in Mexico. Not to even compare those two situations, because you should never do that. They're completely different. Like, but what I can say is, do what you can to work on yourself. Do what you can to be the best version of yourself every day you can. Every day you wake up, try and be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. That's what God intended of us, and that's what God wants of us. He wants us to do the absolute best we can every fucking day. And I didn't not cuss there, and I should have. But that's what you can do. You can do all the work necessary to become the best version of yourself that you possibly can every single chance you get. And that is what you can do for you in these unprecedented, harrowing times that we find ourselves living in. I just want you to know that if anybody watched through this and got anything out of this, I just want you to, even if you didn't, if you're just hearing this, if you don't hear this, if you know a friend or whatever, I just want anybody who needs to hear this to know that I love you. And even if that doesn't matter, I'm not the only one. There's somebody out there who loves you too. Even if it's just you, that's more than enough. And you can do anything you set your mind to. You just have to fucking try. And you can do it. I can do it. We can all do it. I'm not saying that I do anywhere near enough. I'm not even saying I do everything I said here in this video every day, or that, like, but I do the best I can. And I try to make the best that I can better every day. And you can do that too. And that is really what I think that we can do to combat this. is to not just become that hopeless, helpless, you know, dependent person that they want us to be. Become a person of your own. You know, find your own truth, because that's going to become something that you're going to have to do, whether you want to or not, or their truth will have to be yours. So, anyways, I love y'all. Hopefully I'll be back soon. Just work too damn much. Been working like 6 to 8 weeks. Developed a new hobby for some reason. I've been collecting phones, old smartphones and stuff. I might start repairing some of them on video, just rambling like I have here. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. That's another thing too, right? Like, find a hobby, but find something productive. Like, I never knew that I could repair smartphones. I wanted to learn something. I can't go take a college class. I mean, if I really tried, I could. I don't want to. Why would I do that if I don't want to? For some reason, I wanted to fix my stepson's iPhone 7 Plus, so I started taking it apart, figured out how to do it. Now I just gotta put it back together with the new screen and battery in it. I just gotta come up with the motivation for it. Anyways, I know it's been a long video, but I just wanted to come and touch base with everybody, because we live in some precarious times, but you can still become better tomorrow than you were today. That doesn't have to stop. In fact, that might be more important now than it's ever been. Anyways, take it easy, y'all.